In a lush green jungle, there lived a big, silly crocodile named Cuddles. Everyone in the jungle found it funny, because usually crocodiles were known to be grumpy and scary, but not Cuddles. He loved to play games, tell jokes, and swim in the river while making funny faces. One sunny morning, a new animal moved into the jungle. His name was Tito the toucan. Tito was colorful, talkative, and very curious. Why is this crocodile so silly? Tito wondered. He decided to spy on Cuddles to figure it out. Tito followed Cuddles to the river, hiding behind trees and bushes. Cuddles was splashing around, blowing bubbles in the water. Tito giggled. Then, suddenly, Cuddles disappeared under the water. Tito gasped and flew around in circles, squawking, "Oh no!" Suddenly, Cuddles popped up with a leaf hat and a big grin. "Gotcha," he said, making Tito burst into laughter. Tito realized Cuddles was just being himself, a happy, friendly crocodile. As days passed, Tito and Cuddles became best friends. They played games, explored the jungle, and even put on shows for the other animals. Cuddles would pretend to be a scary crocodile, and then Tito would land on his nose, making everyone laugh. One day, a mean old snake named Slither decided to play a trick on Cuddles. Slither slithered up to the river and said, "Cuddles, I bet you can't catch the biggest fish in the river." Cuddles, being the good-natured croc he was, accepted the challenge. He splashed and swam around, trying to catch the biggest fish. But the fish were too quick. Tito saw his friend struggling and came up with an idea. "Cuddles, let's work together," he said. "You scare the fish in my direction, and I'll catch them with my beak." Together, they made a great team. Cuddles scared the fish with his big splash, and Tito caught the biggest fish with his sharp beak. They brought the fish to Slither, who was hiding under a log, looking grumpy. "Looks like we did it," said Cuddles, smiling his big grin. "You sure did," said Slither, slinking away. From that day on, no one doubted that the big, silly crocodile and his best friend, Tito the toucan, made the best team in the jungle. And so, they continued to have fun, share joy, and teach everyone that being different and silly is what makes life delightful.
Once upon a time, in a land made entirely of candy and sweets, there lived a gingerbread man named Jingy. Every house was made from gingerbread, candy canes lined the streets, and jelly beans dotted the landscape like colorful flowers. Jingy was no ordinary cookie. He was brave and full of curiosity, always looking for new adventures. One morning, as the sugary sun rose over Gumdrop Hill, Jingy decided it was the perfect day for an adventure. He packed a tiny cookie bag with candy corn and set off. First, Jingy trotted down Licorice Lane to visit his best friend, Twizzler Twist. Twizzler was a red licorice rope who loved to dance. "Good morning, Twizzler," Jingy called out. Twizzler sprang up and twisted happily. "Good morning, Jingy. Where are you headed today?" "I'm off to explore the candy forest," Jingy replied excitedly. Twizzler twirled around and said, "That sounds delightful. Be careful of the chocolate swamp. It's very sticky this time of year." With a wave, Jingy continued his journey. He bounced across Marshmallow Meadow, where the soft marshmallow ground made his steps feel lighter. Suddenly, he heard a rumble. A huge gumdrop appeared, rolling towards him. Jingy stepped aside just in time and saw it was his friend, Gumdrop Greg. "Hello, Jingy," Greg shouted. "Watch out for the candy castle. The jelly bean giants are having a party, and things are getting a little wild." Greg winked and rolled away. Jingy chuckled and made his way to Candy Forest. The trees were made of candy canes with leaves of cotton candy. He could hear the sweet sounds of caramel crackling in the candy falls.
Once in the sleepy town of Blandford, there lived a friendly monster named Gus. Gus was no ordinary monster. He had bright blue fur, a pair of tiny wings, and adored everything about Halloween. From pumpkins to spooky stories, Gus loved it all. But there was one problem: no one in Blandford celebrated Halloween. In Blandford, people thought Halloween was too scary. No costumes, no jack-o'-lanterns, and definitely no trick-or-treating. But Gus knew Halloween wasn't about being scary, it was about having fun with friends, dressing up, and eating lots of candy. One crisp October morning, Gus decided to change things. He put on his favorite wizard costume, gathered his courage, and went door to door, inviting everyone to Blandford's very first Halloween party. Most people were unsure, but Gus's excitement was contagious. He spoke of pumpkin carving, delicious treats, and fun games. Slowly but surely, the townspeople warmed up to the idea. The big night arrived, and Gus decorated the old town square. Orange and purple lights twinkled, pumpkins with silly faces lined the pathways, and tables were filled with candy apples and spider cupcakes. Gus's heart pounded with excitement as he saw families start to arrive. Kids dressed as pirates, fairies, ghosts, and superheroes ran around in joy. Parents shared stories while sipping hot apple cider, and everyone marveled at the creativity of the costumes. Gus even organized a pumpkin carving contest, and the laughter echoed through Blandford like never before. More than just the decorations or games, it was Gus's spirit that transformed the night. He showed everyone in Blandford that Halloween didn't have to be scary but could be a delightful celebration of imagination and togetherness. As the night drew to a close, the townspeople thanked Gus for bringing such joy to Blandford. Little by little, Halloween became a cherished tradition. Every year, Gus's Halloween party grew bigger and brighter, and Blandford buzzed with excitement every October. Gus, the friendly monster, had found a way to share his love for Halloween, creating happy memories for everyone. And so, in the little town of Blandford, Halloween became the most magical night of the year, all thanks to the monster who loved Halloween.
Isla was a bright-eyed girl who lived in a small cottage by the ever-whispering sea. Every morning she would run to the shore, her toes tickled by the cool waves, and listen to the symphony of the ocean. She believed the waves held secrets, speaking a language of their own. One day, as she sat on a rock, she heard something extraordinary. A melody so beautiful it made her heart flutter. It was as if the ocean itself was singing to her. The melody seemed to call her name, guiding her closer to the water's edge. With curiosity twinkling in her eyes, Isla took a deep breath and dove into the azure depths. She swam deeper and deeper, the melody growing clearer with each stroke. Suddenly, she discovered a hidden underwater kingdom, a place teeming with colorful corals, curious fish, and shimmering lights. Isla's always interrupted by a gentle voice. "Welcome, Isla." She turned to see a mermaid with a crown made of pearls. "I am Princess Marina," the mermaid said, her voice soft but sorrowful. "I need your help. I have lost my voice, and without it, our kingdom's magic is fading." Isla's heart went out to the princess. She knew the pain of losing something precious. The melody that had led her here was Princess Marina's voice, crying out for help. Determined to assist, Isla asked, "How can I help you find your voice?" Princess Marina smiled warmly. "You must find the echo shell hidden deep within the coral maze. But be wary, for only a pure heart can hear its song." Isla swam through the colorful labyrinth, guided by a faint hum, as if the echo shell was calling to her. She faced tricky turns and shimmering illusions, but her heart remained steadfast and pure. Finally, she found the echo shell, a glowing conch that pulsed with the lost melody. Holding it carefully, she returned to Princess Marina. As Isla handed her the shell, it glowed brightly, and a beautiful song filled the kingdom. Princess Marina's voice was restored, and with it, the magic of the underwater world sparkled anew. "Thank you, Isla," Marina said, her voice now a harmonious blend of gratitude and joy. "You have not only found my voice but have also become a part of our kingdom's story." Isla returned to the shore, her heart brimming with the song of the ocean and a new friendship. From that day on, she never listened to the waves the same way. They were no longer just whispers, they were melodies of magic and adventure, waiting for curious hearts to hear. In a quiet little village, there lived a girl named Leah. She loved the night because every time the full moon rose, her garden would become filled with magic. Flowers would sing under the moonlight, streams would tell tales of distant lands, and a mysterious firefly would dance around her. One particular night, Leah discovered a path that led to the moon, a path that would only appear when she truly believed in magic. As Leah bravely set foot on this mystical path, she discovered a moonlit world brimming with friendship, adventure, and miracles. In a cozy little village on Earth, far away from the bustling cities, lived a young girl named Lila. She was an ordinary girl with an extraordinary imagination. Every night, she would stare up at the stars, feeling a special connection to the shimmering lights that twinkled down at her. One magical evening, as the stars sparkled brighter than ever, a beautiful moonbeam descended into Lila's room. The moonbeam spoke in a gentle melodic voice. "Lila, you are the lost princess of the Star Kingdom. The stars have been waiting for you to return and reclaim your throne." "Me? A princess?" Lila gasped, her eyes wide with amazement. She could hardly believe it, but the moonbeam's light filled her with a warm, comforting glow. "Yes, dear Lila, your destiny awaits. You must journey across the galaxy to the Star Kingdom and bring peace to the starry realms," the moonbeam explained. "You won't be alone. I will guide you, and a loyal stardust dragon named Astra will accompany you." Right on cue, a magnificent dragon made of shimmering stardust appeared at Lila's window. With scales that glistened like diamonds and eyes that sparkled like the brightest stars, Astra was a sight to behold. "Climb on, Princess Lila," Astra said with a bow. "Our adventure begins now." Lila climbed onto Astra's back, feeling the excitement and wonder bubbling inside her. Together, guided by the moonbeam, they soared into the night sky, leaving the Earth far behind. They flew past swirling galaxies, glittering nebulae, and colorful comets, each more breathtaking than the last. Along the way, they encountered various challenges. They had to navigate through a tricky meteor shower, outwit mischievous space sprites, and solve the riddles of the Seven Sisters constellation. Each challenge tested Lila's courage and wisdom, but with Astra's support and the moonbeam's guidance, she triumphed over them all. Finally, they arrived at the Star Kingdom, a magnificent realm where the palaces were made of crystal and the skies were filled with dancing lights. The star citizens, glowing with joy, welcomed Lila with open arms. She felt a deep sense of belonging and knew that this was her true home. Standing before the grand assembly of stars, Lila took the throne that was rightfully hers. With Astra by her side and the moonbeam's light shining brightly, she declared, "From this day forward, the Star Kingdom shall know peace and prosperity. Let the stars shine brightly for all."
Once upon a time, in a small village covered in a sparkling blanket of snow, there lived a little girl named Lily. Lily was a curious child with bright blue eyes and a heart full of adventure. In this village, there was a legend about a mysterious snow queen who lived high up in the frosty mountains. It was said she possessed a secret so wondrous that anyone who discovered it would have their deepest wish granted. One crisp winter's morning, Lily decided she would find the Snow Queen and uncover her secret. She packed her little red backpack with warm clothes, sandwiches, and a shiny compass, then set off on her journey. As Lily trudged through the snow, she encountered various woodland creatures who joined her along the way. First, there was Mr. Whiskers, a wise old rabbit who always had a twinkle in his eye. Next came Chipper, a cheerful chipmunk whose laughter was contagious. Lastly, they were joined by Sky, a gentle deer who guided them through the densest parts of the forest. Together, Lily and her new friends faced many challenges on their way up the frosty mountains. They crossed frozen rivers, navigated blizzards, and even outwitted a mischievous group of snow goblins. Each obstacle only made them more determined to find the Snow Queen. At last, after days of traveling, they reached the glistening palace made entirely of ice. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, Lily knocked on the grand door. To her surprise, the door opened by itself, revealing a magnificent hall filled with ice sculptures and twinkling lights. At the end of the hall stood the Snow Queen, as ethereal and beautiful as the legends had described. "Welcome, Lily," the Snow Queen said with a warm smile. "I've been expecting you." Lily's eyes widened in surprise. "You knew I was coming?" The Snow Queen nodded. "Yes, and I know you seek my secret." She gestured for Lily and her friends to come closer. "The true secret, my dear, is not hidden in these icy walls, but within your own heart. The bravery, kindness, and friendship you've shown on this journey are the real treasures." Lily looked at her friends and realized the Snow Queen was right. She felt a warm glow in her heart and suddenly understood that the greatest wish had already been granted, the bond of friendship and the courage to face any challenge. And so, Lily and her friends returned to their village, carrying with them the most precious secret of all, a secret not of magic, but of love and friendship. From that day on, Lily told everyone about her adventure, and the legend of the Snow Queen's secret lived on, inspiring many to seek the treasures within their own hearts.
Once upon a time in a sleepy little town, there lived a curious girl named Lily. One rainy afternoon, while exploring her grandparents' attic, Lily stumbled upon an old dusty carousel hidden under a shabby cloth. The carousel was enchanted with golden swirls and tiny, hand-painted horses, each seeming to beckon her closer. With a heart full of adventure, Lily climbed onto one of the horses. The moment she did, the carousel started to spin faster and faster, until everything blurred around her. When the spinning stopped, Lily found herself in a magical land where flowers sang and trees whispered ancient secrets. She met a friendly dragon named Sparky who was afraid of flying. Together they journeyed to the top of a crystal mountain and, facing their fears, learned that courage is found within oneself. The next night, Lily couldn't resist returning to the attic. This time she chose a silver unicorn from the carousel. The horse galloped through the stars, arriving in a kingdom filled with talking animals. Here Lily helped a forgetful owl remember where he had hidden a special key, discovering the importance of patience and kindness. Every night brought a new adventure. On a golden lion, she entered a jungle where she saved a band of mischievous monkeys from a sneaky snake, learning about teamwork and trust. On a beautiful swan, she glided over a moonlit lake, teaching a shy mermaid about the power of friendship. With each journey, Lily grew wiser and more confident. She realized that the magic of the carousel was not just in the places it took her, but in the lessons she learned and the friends she made along the way. And so, every night, she eagerly anticipated her next adventure, knowing that the carousel had many more wonders to reveal. Lily's heart brimmed with joy and her life became a tapestry of magical memories, woven with threads of whimsy, bravery, kindness, and love. She knew that no matter how old she grew, the magic carousel would always be there, ready to spin her into yet another fantastical world. And with a twinkle in her eye, Lily vowed to keep exploring, forever enchanted by the magic of discovery. Once upon a time in a forest bathed with moonlight, there lived a tiny firefly named Lumen. Unlike the other fireflies who flashed their lights excitedly to scare away the dark, Lumen loved the nighttime. She flitted around without lighting up, marveling at how the stars twinkled like 1,000 little diamonds and how the moon cast a silvery glow over everything. Lumen's friends didn't understand her at all. "Why do you like the dark so much?" they would ask, puzzled. "Aren't you afraid?" But Lumen would just smile and say, "The dark is not empty or scary. It's full of beauty if you just look closely." One evening, a big storm rolled through the forest, blocking the moon and stars with thick gray clouds. The other fireflies got scared and huddled together, their lights flickering weakly. Without their usual lanterns of the night sky, they felt lost. That's when Lumen decided to help. She gathered the fireflies around and gently encouraged them to turn off their lights just for a moment. At first, they were hesitant, nervously dimming their glows until the forest plunged into darkness. As their eyes adjusted, the fireflies began to see and hear things they never noticed before: the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the twinkling eyes of nocturnal creatures gazing out in curiosity. "See," Lumen whispered softly, "even in the darkest times, there is always beauty if you know where to look." As the storm passed, the other fireflies realized that the darkness wasn't so scary after all. They began to dance and play, appreciating the wonders around them. From that night on, they didn't just light up out of fear, but did so to enhance the beauty of the night they had grown to love. And little Lumen, the firefly who wasn't afraid of the dark, became their guiding light. The end.